Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have for you week 3 of my month-long meal planning videos. This week, I spent a total of $42.25 on groceries. I will leave a link below on my meal plan which shows each meal for every day of the week, the grocery list that you'll need, as well as the prep work to do on Sunday. My goal for this series was to make 5 dinners for less than $50. Here is how I started prepping on Sunday. I started by taking the entire package of boneless, skinless chicken breasts and cubing them all up. I then just seasoned them with a little bit of fajita seasoning and dried parsley. Then I just stick them all in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer for later in the week. I then just washed my cutting board and went to chop up my purple onion. I did half the onion in a fine dice and the other half into large chunks to use later for the skewers in the week. I went ahead and put both of them into Ziploc bags and put them in the fridge. I then worked on my yellow onion, again doing a fine dice on half of the onion and then just slicing up the rest. Put these in 2 different Ziplocs and put them in the fridge as well. I then washed my zucchinis and chopped them and put them in a large Ziploc bag and put them in the refrigerator. I then took my entire head of iceberg lettuce, chopped it up, and then put it in a colander to wash in the sink. After rinsing the lettuce, I dried it on paper towels, put it in a Tupperware dish, and laid 1 dry paper towel on top before I covered it up and put it in the fridge. This kind of helps to keep it fresh for a little bit longer. Then I seasoned my entire package of pork chops using garlic powder, onion powder, dried parsley, seasoned salt, paprika, and lemon pepper. After this, I put them all in a Ziploc bag and use a little bit of Dijon mustard, a little bit of vegetable oil, and I sprinkle in some of my diced purple onions. I mix it all around, seal the bag, and put it in the refrigerator. And that is all the prep work that I do on Sunday night. Now, here's how the dinners turned out for each night of the week. On Monday night, we had pork chops with roasted sweet potatoes and a side salad. I started by peeling and cubing my sweet potatoes, and I put them on a lined baking sheet. I drizzled over some vegetable oil, salt, pepper, and a little sprinkling of onions, tossed it all together, and then on a separate sheet, I just poured out the pork chops we had pre-seasoned and put both of these pans in the oven at 400 degrees. After 20 minutes, I gave the sweet potatoes a little toss and then continued baking them both for an additional 20 minutes. For the side salad, I just took the iceberg lettuce we had already washed and chopped and put out a few sides to go with it along with some ranch dressing, and that was our dinner for Monday night. On Tuesday, we had chicken skewers with squash and chicken flavored rice. I started out by taking out the bag of pre-seasoned and pre-chopped chicken, and I made these chicken skewers by using a toothpick, and I just alternated a chunk of purple onion, then squash, then chicken, then onion, squash, and chicken. I lined all of these on a lined baking sheet. And then after I'd used up all of the squash, I took whatever chicken was still remaining and put it on this separate baking sheet to bake them both at the same time. I put them in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I pulled out the pan of just chicken and set it to the side and continued cooking the skewers for about an additional 10 minutes. When they were finished cooking, I just took them out of the oven, sprinkled a little salt and pepper, and then put them on this serving dish. Now while that was cooking in the oven, I made my rice on the stovetop, and the only thing I did differently is I put chicken bouillon in the water when I was cooking the rice just to give it a little better flavor. As usual, I made 3 cups of rice, divided it in half, and put half in a Tupperware container to use later in the week. Same thing goes for this chicken in the pan above. I cooked it all tonight, but I will actually be using it in the meal for Thursday, my Cajun chicken pasta. And this is everything we had for Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, we had pork and gravy with rice, peas, and carrots. Now, I already had the pork chops left over from Monday night, and I just chopped them up and set them aside. In my saucepan, I made a simple gravy using butter and flour, and then whisking in some beef broth that I had left over in the fridge. After that cooks, you can add a little bit of seasoning like salt and pepper and maybe garlic and onion powder as well. Then you want to dump in the pork chops along with the drippings that were left over from Monday night, and just let that simmer for a few minutes together. Now the rice we already had in the refrigerator, so I just pulled that out. And the peas and carrots I made on the stovetop, and I just added a little bit of butter and a little salt and pepper, and that was a quick dinner for Wednesday night. On Thursday we had Cajun chicken pasta with a side salad. To start out, I just took my saute pan and I sauteed my frozen vegetables. These were just bell peppers and onions. When they were almost done cooking, I added in my squeezed garlic, maybe just a teaspoon or two. Let that simmer until I could smell the garlic. Then I added in about 1 to 2 teaspoons of my Cajun seasoning to these vegetables, stirred it around, and then added in some heavy whipping cream that I had left over from the previous dinners, as well as half a can of crushed tomatoes. I let these simmer together on low, and then added in my chicken with the drippings that I had left over from Tuesday night. I let all of this simmer and cook together on low heat while I prepared my pasta noodles. When the noodles were done cooking, I simply drained them and add them to this pan as well. Mixed everything together, turned the heat off, and let it sit for a few minutes so that the noodles could absorb the juices. While it was sitting, I just prepared my simple side salad using all the same things we had on Monday night. And this was our delicious dinner for Thursday that everybody really enjoyed. And on Friday we had easy Frito pie. For this, I just cooked my hamburger meat with some of the diced onions. Once it was cooked through, I added in 1 can of crushed tomatoes and let that simmer along with some chili seasoning. I let that simmer on low for at least 10 to 15 minutes to really get a good flavor. And then when it's ready, we just serve it over Fritos with a little sprinkled cheese on top. And that is it for this week of dinners. As always, I will leave a link below to my entire meal plan with the grocery list and the prep work. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.